All right, I'm gonna go over to that white curly tail. Unfortunately, I don't have much in the way of jig choices right here. Well, I do have this one right here, this bigger white one right here. One thing that'll happen to you, some of you guys, you new fishermen out there, your jig heads, sometimes they'll come with paint through the little hole right there. You can take another hook and punch through like that right there and dig that paint off, but you have to be careful. If you leave that paint on there like that, that paint can actually cut your line because it's sharp, like little chips. So ideally you want to get all that paint off down to the metal. You know, don't just punch a hole through there and then leave the paint on. Get all the paint off of it right there. But see, I can go over to this one right here, but I'm gonna get that paint off of there. Definitely won't get that paint off of there. About got it. Gotta be careful though. There we go. About got that paint off there. See, this jig head is a little bit big for my back to the 70s. See, this jig head is a little bit big. Now I won't be able to utilize this video here right now, folks, because Saturday Night Fever is a copywritten song, and if I were to put my video up just like this with Saturday Night Fever playing in the background, I would get what's called a copyright strike. See, the YouTube algorithm would pick up and it would hear Saturday Night Fever playing and it would copyright that. So if I were to make any money on that video with Saturday Night Fever playing, the people who have the royalty to Saturday Night Fever would make the money. I wouldn't make any money, or if I did, it wouldn't be very much. It would be split with them. So as a new YouTuber, that's one thing you got to watch, is that background music like that. You know, Saturday Night Fever, that's a cool song and everything, man, but I'd play it if I could, but you can't do that. That's why people don't play popular songs. You know, a new YouTuber might go, you know, why don't people really play good songs or use good songs on their videos? Well, that's why, because music is copywritten. That's just the way it works right there, folks. This little jig here is a little bit heavier than this little jig. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my split shot back off here, and I'm going to see how I do with just that jig without the split shot. It's removable, remember. So we got it removed right there. So I'm going to take my little red one off right here. Something like that right there. That's good right there. But this jig head is just ever so slightly heavy for that. Maybe not by much. That's really okay. That really looks pretty good. That would be a decent white bass bait right there. You know, that's really okay. That's really pretty good size. I got a feeling I'm gonna catch me a white bass on this one right here. Let's see if we can get one right here. We do have some fish coming up in front of us, but I had to break off and tie back on, and I'm still kind of messed up right here. So I thought I had it, but I didn't. Maybe it's all right. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, I think we're all right. Just had to break. There's one right there. There's fish out there. I had to break off some of my line. So what's happened is when you break off your line and you don't have as much, there's one right there. What do we got, folks? Probably white bass. So I knew there was a little school of something in there. They're breaking all out here. So I was just going to say, can't cast out quite as far. Look at that, folks. Them white bass, boy, they fight hard. Let's get him in here. He's a little bit smaller one. We'll get him in here and get him back out there. Pretty little fish right there. Little small school of white bass in here this evening, folks. Let's turn him loose right here. That's a little smaller than normal, but we'll take him on this slow night. Here you go, little buddy. Back to the deep. You know, anytime the water changes like that, just a little tip, you know, for you beginning fishermen, anytime the water fluctuates a lot like that, like on this lake, it changes things, you know. It moves the bait fish. The bait fish tend to change their pattern a bit, which in turn changes the pattern of the other fish. So like right now, the last time I was here, there was all kinds of bait fish all out in here. You can see bait fish breaking out everywhere. But right now, nothing. See a few little fish around the edge right here, but no big schools of shad or anything like that. So it don't look good. I had come out here in hopes of catching some shad and trying to do a little bit of catfishing just to set up. Now somebody's been fishing in my spot here. Now folks, this ain't gonna cut the mustard right here, people. We got obvious signs of people here intruding on my private spot here. This big stick here. I don't know if you people see this big stick right here, but this big stick wasn't here before. Also, people coming down here through the park are tire tracks. I can see them in the grass coming from the parking lot all the way down right to here. So somebody's driven their vehicle down here, pounded this big stake in the ground. That right there, you know how many fishing lures I can make out of that stick right there? I could probably make about 4 or 5 big old gigantic fishing lures big enough to catch a shark on out of that big stick right there. They've left behind here. They've pounded a big stick in the ground. They left it behind. They left evidence that they've been here. But if they were here during the day, this is not such a great catfish spot during the day. I found out pretty good late in the evening though. But come on people, you're gonna have to do better than that. That's just a little ridiculous right there. No, I'm just kidding. They should have taken their big stick with them anyways, you know. I could make a bunch of lures out of that. I might just do that. Take that home and prop it up in the garage there. When I need to make me a big old plug or something, I'll just grab that big pine stick. It's a big old piece of pine. They must have had them a pretty big hammer. They might have come down here at night. They might have snuck in here at night. Gosh, I don't know what they're doing here. Boy, they tore up the grass right here too. Whoever they were, here's why you're not allowed to drive your cars down here. Now, just for the record, I fish down here quite a bit, and I don't drive my car down here. I did one time, and they told me not to drive my car down here. But see what? Here's what happens. This is why they don't allow you to drive your car down here, because now you got all this nice grass where people like to lay in the grass right here. What are they gonna lay in now? What is this? They're gonna be laying in mud. You're gonna come down here Saturday. We'll have you a nice little spot right here at the park. You're gonna have to come down here and lay in mud. So somebody drove down here with their vehicle, pounded a big stake in the ground right there, tore up the half the bank right here. I don't know. You know, if you're going to come in and do something you're not really supposed to do, if maybe you got a handicap and you can't walk that far with all your stuff, you got to be careful there. You can't be tearing up the ground like that and stuff. That is kind of ridiculous, really, in a way right there. GoPro, stop recording.